Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 13 of the Dragon Radar podcast. We are your hosts, Heeroh and Ajoten. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well and ready to steal your catchphrase by saying I'm ready for a discussion. So let's get started with Roshi's rant.
This is Roshi's Rant.
So this is Roshi's Rant, the first segment of the podcast where we discuss a topic regarding Dragon Ball, and this week we are discussing Tarble, and more specifically, should he be made canon? Now, Tarble's only appeared in one special, Yo, Son Goku and Friends Return, but apart from that, he hasn't really done much. So, what do you think? Should he be made canon?
No.
No.
For those of you who don't know, Tarble is Vegeta's non-canon brother.
He is.
Yes, there wasn't an English dub version of this, so some people may not have watched it. He literally appeared in just this one little special, and he kind of, from an animation point of view, and then he's just kind of dissipated for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, his resurgence is Cabba. That's why I say no.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. If you look at the animation of Tarble's, it's Cabba.
It is, yeah.
That's the main reason why I should not be. If you hadn't released that animation back then and you release that now, you would be so confused because you would basically have this second character come into it as Vegeta's little brother, and you would basically just have two twin characters. One is Vegeta's little apprentice, and then Tarble, who basically looks exactly the same as Cabba almost.
He does, actually, yeah. Very similar.
Yeah, as his, but basically they look the same in, like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They look so alike. It's crazy. And I just think that that you just shouldn't play. They've just done exactly what they've done with what do you call him in Goku Black? What's he called?
I don't know which character you're talking about.
From the World Tree.
Lord Slug? Turles?
No, Turles. Yeah, Turles. Yeah. They've just done that with Goku Black. Oh, right. They've just done exactly the same principle. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
The exact same thing with Tarbles and Cabba. They've took an old non-canon thing and then refurbished it, made it better, and then made it canon.
Yeah.
And I think they've done that. They've done it better. I think they've done it better because for this special, he's useless and pointless and weak, and there's no real substance to him, in my opinion. He's pointless. He's just a plot point. Whereas Cabba is there's some substance. I like Cabba. He's there's a lot to him. There's a lot there. There's potential. I think that's a good word for Cabba. Potential. And he brings out a lot in Vegeta, which I like. There's a lot of story there for him and to build him up between Cabba and Vegeta, and I like it. So again, they took a naff little old school non-canon character and they've reformed them into a very good character.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think they should make him canon.
Yeah. I think we should kind of mention the plot of the special at least. So Tarble comes to Earth because his planet was being attacked by two of Frieza's goons who survived apparently and have found Tarble's planet and are wreaking havoc all over the place. And Tarble somehow just happens to know where Vegeta is, and even though he's never mentioned ever before at any point, he's like, yeah, let's just go see Vegeta, and he's my older brother, so he can help maybe. Who knows? And he just lands at Earth with his half alien, half robot wife.
Thing. Yeah. Which is Xeno, by the way, which is just a knockoff of Xeno.
It is, yeah, she is, yeah. But Tarble turns up, he looks exactly like Cabba pretty much, maybe even slightly smaller than what Cabba is. But he's a weak Saiyan who doesn't fight, and he needs help to defeat two of Frieza's goons. who in the special we find out are very weak to the fact that Goten and Trunks are the ones to take them out, because you know what? Let's give them something to do, so them two are the ones who actually fight, while Goku and Vegeta and everyone else just watch it all happen. So, yeah, that's the plot point. So, Tarble is very weak that he can't even take out these two goons, I guess. And yeah, it doesn't make sense that he shows up. He says that just before Planet Vegeta blew up, he was sent away to another planet to train because his dad, like King Vegeta, found him weak, so he sent him to this planet before it blew up. And he's just never bothered to try and get in touch or see how his brother's doing or anything like that. But somehow he knew that Vegeta was on Earth and knew exactly how to find him. It doesn't really make sense, but it is a quick special. So, they had to kind of build some sort of story for him to be there. But Vegeta never mentioned him at all, ever, throughout Dragon Ball. And he's just as surprised that he shows up, and then he's like, yeah, this is my younger brother. And it's like, what? You have a younger brother all of a sudden? Okay.
To be honest, the most shocked he seems about the entire situation is more the fact that the small creature is Tarble's wife.
Yeah.
And he's actually quite respectful about it as well.
Yeah. She looks like the Android logo, like the Android phone logo. That's what she looks like.
Yeah.
But she's pink and white.
mixed with Xeno. Literally,
Yeah.
that's literally it's. I think it's where they got the concept for Xeno from.
It could be, honestly. Yeah, it might be.
It's so weird looking. It's got the weird round white head as well. It's so odd.
Yeah, just giant, perfectly circular head, and then just a tiny face right in the middle. It's strange, but yeah, I don't know. I agree. I don't think he should be canon, because I kind of agree with you with the Kaba point, and that was my main point as well. I think Kaba is what they wanted to do with Tarble, I guess, if they were going to continue the show back in, I think it was 2012 when they released this short, this short film, I guess. They brought in Tarble, and this was like a trial, I guess. And everything they've done with Kaba is probably what they would have done with Tarble if they released a series then and could have included him. The only difference being is that he's not Vegeta's brother anymore, which makes sense, because Vegeta would have mentioned him, even in passing, to say, yeah, like when Planet Vegeta blew up, not just my dad and all the Saiyans blew up, but also my brother died. Because in his eyes, I'm guessing he thought Tarble died. He could have mentioned him, but he never did.
I think the only justification they can give is the Vegeta back then was so cold that Tarble being weak may as well have been dead to him.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a cop-out, because that's not the Vegeta we have now. The Vegeta we have now is a family man.
Also, like, Vegeta is constantly all about Saiyan pride, and he does constantly mention the fact that Frieza blew up his planet, he destroyed his people, he destroyed his family. Like, well, he mentions his dad specifically, but
yeah,
he would have mentioned his brother if they had any sort of plan for him at all.
Yeah.
But he didn't. Yeah.
It's a strange one. But I think they've definitely done it, because literally with Kaba, they focused on arguably the weakest of Saiyans. Like Kale is, whilst Kale is the most timid and everything like that of that group of Saiyans, she has her own strength in the fact that she's essentially Broly.
Yeah.
Like, she has a hidden strength.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that with Vegeta. Caulifla is obviously Goku.
Which I hate, but yeah.
Yeah. Kaba is weakness. It's what he is. He is just weak. He is exactly what Tarble is. There is the level of similarities is insane.
Yeah.
Like, when I literally watched it before we had this podcast, and yeah, it's just like I was just looking at Kaba basically.
Yeah.
And I think they've just done exactly what they did with Turles and Goku Black. They've just taken an old character and they've reshaped him and they've just made it a good character.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. I think that's the best thing that you can do is take something that's not canon, because you have you've got a potential for good character, and they've made, because Goku Black is some of their best material in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah.
It's a fantastic character. I love Goku Black. And so I think if they can do that more, do it.
Yeah.
Happy for them to do it. And that's exactly what they've done, in my opinion. So go for it.
Yeah.
And Kaba is a fantastic character, and I think he has more potential, and I'd love to see more of him. I don't know when we're going to see more of him, if it's going down the manga vein, if the animation follows the manga vein, because I don't think we're going to see him for a little while if that's the case.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, I don't know too much, because again, we don't follow it that much. But I do want to see more.
Yeah, I would love to see more as well. But let's kind of switch it up a bit. So we're both kind of agreeing that we don't think he should be made canon. But if they put up a teaser trailer or something and said, look, here comes Tarble, he's going to be made canon, how would you like him to be made canon, I guess? Because for me, they can kind of scrap everything that happened in that special because it's non-canon anyway. So they don't need to make him as weak as he is in that. Like, they can make him strong if they wanted to. He can still look the same, that's fine. He can look similar to Kaba if they really want to. Or they could change up his design slightly, maybe make him big. You know, be like Vegeta's big little brother. Or whatever, who knows? They could change his design, they could change his strength levels, they could change how he is. Yeah, what would you like if they were to bring in Tarble?
You definitely need an animation change. You definitely need he definitely need to look different. Yeah. They would have to redo his model. I think he'd need to be strong, only stronger, because he would need an entire character rework, in my opinion. You couldn't have that character because that character is now taken, in my opinion. He'd have to come in. I don't know if he would need to be a Super Saiyan.
I don't know. It depends if they decided. Yeah, actually, no, he doesn't need to be a Super Saiyan.
Because I think they could. I think that's how they could develop a bond.
Yeah.
I think they could, because when because that was actually a small bonding moment between Trunks and Vegeta in the Goku Black arc. It was one of the many times that just Trunks and Vegeta spent some time together, because they never do that. Or future Trunks, I should say. Sorry, is when they were training together. It's when Vegeta bonds best with people. When he does it with Kaba, it's when he does it with Trunks. So it would be a good opportunity for them to engage. So he could showing him Super Saiyan and engaging in that way and everything. So yeah, I don't think he would necessarily have to have Super Saiyan. Or he could have found a different type of strength, and that could be a way for them to go down a whole different avenue. Maybe.
Like, one thing that's just popped into my head there when he said maybe he could have a different type of strength is maybe he has some sort of weapon that he found from this different planet that is strong. Like, he himself is not strong, but maybe this weapon that is found on this planet is strong. Or maybe it's got some sort of special ability or power inside this type of weapon that he uses, which makes him difficult to deal with. Maybe he's just like extremely fast, but he's not strong, so he has to use this weapon to actually deal damage. Like, you know, similar to how Trunks uses his sword all of the time. Maybe, Tarble can have some sort of sword or something similar. Maybe some sort of blaster, I guess, since if he was around during the whole Frieza, during Planet Vegeta time as well, he would have seen all of Frieza's goons using blasters, so maybe he has forged himself some sort of incredible blaster gun that does a lot of damage. Maybe he's like that. I think for a design change, I agree, he does look too much like Kappa, and an easy fix, which would work, is give him Vegeta's hairstyle. because Vegeta and King Vegeta have exactly the same hair. It's not even slightly different. It is exactly the same. So give Tarble Vegeta's hairstyle as well. Easy fix. He does kind of then look a bit like a mini Vegeta, although his face shape is completely different. So the hairstyle, it wouldn't be like a Goku Turles thing where they both look exactly the same. It would be, I don't know, they wouldn't look the same. You know, it would kind of be like Goku and Goten. Yeah, I guess.
I've just had another side thought. I don't know why when you said Blaster. I mean, he doesn't even have to be a fighter necessarily.
No,
he could be like a smuggler or something like that, or he could just have chosen his own path. Like he could be like a rogue, this lovable rogue or something like that, or a space pirate or something like that. Like just anything, like something totally different that you wouldn't expect of just your average Sith. We always have a Saiyan who's a fighter. Yeah, our only Saiyan who's not a fighter is our good old Gohan. Yeah. So to have a pure-blooded Saiyan who's not that and was chosen a different path would be quite different and would be quite interesting. And to see that from a different character would be quite interesting. And rather than just stepping into a bunch of Saiyans who are just a bunch of fighters who love to fight, it would be quite interesting, I think. So yeah, having them do something like that would be quite cool, I think.
Yeah.
So like smuggler, like space pirate, smuggler, or something like that. That could be quite cool.
Yeah. No, that gave me an idea when you mentioned that as well. Like, if he was some sort of like space pirate, or maybe he was forced into doing like thievery or something. So he's very nimble. He knows how to break into places, that type of thing. They could easily have like some sort of mini arc or whatever, where there's maybe like, I don't know, a giant castle or something like that, where the bad guys are all in the middle, but they've got traps everywhere, and you know you can't use instant transmission because Goku doesn't know how to get there or who it is exactly, and they need to get around this course or unlock things, and like Tarble can just show off his like, you know, abilities to get around things better. I don't know.
Like an old school episode of Dragon Ball, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's too based on strength now. And even if something like that happened, I can just imagine Goku and Vegeta would just literally fly straight through the walls, because why not? They're strong, they can do it. But if they made it some sort of impenetrable material and like instant transmission didn't work and they've got to go through these traps, then he could show off his nimbleness. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Make him stand out.
It could just be he's got his smarts rather than his strength.
Yeah.
Because it could just be that that's why he did go away, that he did still get sent away, and they still stick by that because he was weak. And so they stick with that. But when they meet up again, he's still weak, but he's also really clever.
Yeah. Make Gohan be like kind of jealous at how like, you know, clever smart he is. Yeah.
But he's like sneaky smart and stuff like that as well. Yeah. He's like so he could be like techie and stuff like that, and it's like he could get on with Bulma as well and stuff like that. Yeah, so he could get on Bulma's good side. That could make Vegeta jealous, stuff like that as well.
Yeah. There's lots of possibilities, but if they did bring him in just like they did in the special, then I think it wouldn't work. He is too similar to Cabba. Although if they did bring him in exactly like that, it would make an interesting storyline if Tarble and Cabba ever met up, because they're basically the same, and Vegeta, I'm guessing he would kind of just train Tarble to get stronger anyway, since he's his brother. So Tarble and Cabba together, training partners, might be interesting.
I think it would take away a lot of the meaning from Cabba.
Yeah, potentially.
Like it feels like a bond between Cabba and Vegeta. And then if he's just training any Saiyan who's weak, it's like, oh well, okay, so that actually didn't mean anything. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
I know it's his brother, but it's kind of like, oh well, never mind.
Yeah,
whatever.
You could just refuse training if he did come in as smart or whatever, just saying, I don't like the fight, I'm not going to fight. but I can help you build stuff and things like that. But yeah, I think we've probably talked enough about Tarble now. I think we both agree he shouldn't be canon, or if he is, then they need to completely rework him. So let's move on now to the Hall of Fame.
And now it is time for the Hall of Fame.
And now, of course, it is time for the Hall of Fame, where myself and Heeroh battle it out to see who is most worthy to enter this week's Hall of Fame. Last week, it was who had the most pointless sacrifice, with myself choosing Goku's sacrifice against Raditz, and yourself choosing Chaozu's sacrifice against Nappa.
I did indeed.
They were both so bad.
Yeah.
But there can be only one, as they say. And which one was it?
So the winner and entering the Hall of Fame with 75% of the vote is Chaozu. His death was the most pointless sacrifice. Well, apparently not debatable. Everyone kind of agrees. But yeah, I'm happy. I got a win. I've ended my losing streak, finally. So what is the topic this week?
That's right. I didn't lose. I intentionally threw to make it feel better.
I see.
Sorry, I had to say it.
It's fine. Just drink it in. You know, you had that much of a lead. I've taken one back. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. What is this week's?
This week is Dragon Ball's best weapon. So stepping in a different direction this week. Yeah. And of course, as this week's winner, you get to go first.
I do indeed, finally. So, there's a few weapons in Dragon Ball, when you think of Dragon Ball. Weapons, at least. But only one can be the best. And I've went with the one that stands out the most to me. The one that is iconic to Dragon Ball. Original Dragon Ball especially. And that is the Power Pole.
No, why? It's a pick. No.
I had to. It's the most iconic weapon in Dragon Ball. Original Dragon Ball.
I have a backup. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
We shall see. But I'm going for 2 on the bounce. 2 victories in a row here. So, Goku's Power Pole. It is the forgotten original signature weapon of the show. It is never mentioned or used anymore at all. The only time you ever see it is when they do a long shot of Kame's tower, because you see the pole between Kame's lookout and Korin's tower, just connecting the two. And that's kind of the only time you ever see it. And if you started to watch Dragon Ball during Dragon Ball Super, you would just think, yeah, that's how they're connected. Even for most of Z, you would probably think that it's just how they're connected, and it's not one of the best weapons in the show, if not the best. Well, I'm arguing it's the best. So yeah. But in OG Dragon Ball, it was actually used as a weapon, and it was great. You know, it worked because it is a stick, basically, that was passed down from Korin to Master Roshi to Grandpa Gohan to then Goku. And all of these guys used it in their own way to fight. And once Goku had it, he used it to take advantage in fights because it extends pretty much as long as you need it to extend. The furthest it's ever been known to extend is all the way to the moon. So you get the length of how far this stick can kind of expand, I guess, because Goku puts Boss Rabbit on the moon to get rid of him.
Poor bunny.
Yeah, and then since OG Dragon Ball was kind of forgotten about when the moon was blown up, Boss Rabbit also died, rest in peace. But this stick was amazing. During original Dragon Ball, it was used in every single Goku fight. If he needed to dodge attacks, you would put the stick down and extend it to launch himself into the air. If the enemies were further away, he would extend it to be able to whack them on the head from distance. It was a great weapon. It was unique. It was different, you know, whereas, you know, the traditional weapons of animes are guns and swords and that type of thing. This, it works similar. A pole is similar to a sword, but just the fact that it extends gives it that uniqueness that you don't really see with many other weapons. And yeah, it's turned into a placeholder now. No one mentions it. No one uses it. It hasn't even been passed down. It's still technically Goku's, and he never passed it down. He could have gave it to Goten or Gohan, but he didn't. He's left it there as a pole just in between Korin's tower and the lookout, which is a little bit of a shame because it could be so much more. Give it to Goten, make him stand out. Trunks has a sword. Well, not Kid Trunks, but future Trunks has a sword. Kid Trunks could have a sword, maybe. Give Goten the power pole, Have the two both wield weapons instead of just being normal Saiyans. Who knows? But yeah, it was such a fun weapon, and it's such a shame that it's not used anymore and kind of just forgotten about. But in my eyes, it is the best weapon on the show. So that's my pick. What is your pick?
It's a good pick, I'll give you that.
I mean, it was your pick, so yeah.
I mean, you speak ill of swords, and I'm going to have to disagree, as you can imagine. Because you know what I'm going to pick now, don't you?
I think I do, yes.
Yeah, it's going to be in support of your boy. And this is, of course, Future Trunks is sword.
Yeah.
Sword that we all witnessed slice and dice our Mech Freezer into many pieces. It was the first time I witnessed it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, pretty much one of the only times I've seen it be particularly impactful. But it has been an iconic part of Dragon Ball for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much whenever we've seen a lot of Trunks, it does make a lot of what Trunks is. I don't see Trunks without the sword.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I mean, he does unleash a lot of cool attacks with it. I do like it. I do like its aesthetic. I think it's very cool.
Yeah.
Even though in the Goku Black arc, I'm not a huge fan of the plot device that allows him to defeat Zamasu with it.
By transferring his ki into the sword.
Yeah. The attack itself is quite cool.
Yeah.
You have to admit. It's a very cool attack. It's basically a spirit bomb sword, isn't it, really? Yeah. So it's a cool attack. You definitely can't step away from it. And I mean, I think the only problem I have with the sword, I'll be honest, is I just wish he'd used his ki more with the sword. Yeah,
it might make it stand out, especially if he can, because we know that most ki blasts are like a yellow color, but they can also be blue, which is what Trunks' sword was. It was blue. But imagine if he could go like Super Saiyan and change his ki energy with the sword. He could change it to gold or blue or whatever else color. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, but I think I think that's the thing for me is it's more an aesthetic-ish thing when it comes to Trunks. He tries to use it a lot within Dragon Ball, and he's not massively successful when it comes to it. I think Trunks is mostly successful when he's just outright fighting. But when it comes from an aesthetic standpoint, it is brilliant, and I have to give him that. I think he does need to learn to just fight normally, though. I think he needs to stop using the sword. Because the amount of times I've seen him attack someone with the sword and fail miserably is quite impressive. Whether it's in the films or otherwise, it's hilarious. I do kind of, although when he beats Android 13, that is a very cool attack. Cutting up Android 14 in the Android 13 film, when he basically blasts through him, slices through him, and then he bursts into an explosion. Very cool.
Yeah.
It tends to be in the films where he uses these things better.
Because he gets a chance to shine more in the films compared to the show. Yeah.
I mean, you actually see the origins of the sword in one of the films.
Yeah, in the Tapion film.
Yeah, in the Tapion film. Yeah, so it's like the sword tends to shine, like a way of putting it, in the films.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's why it's my pick, is from an aesthetic standpoint. For Trunks, I think he needs to learn how to use it a bit better. I think he's when you struggle to beat people with explosive key blasts and everything like that, a metal sword probably is not your best bet. But he does know how to look good with it. I'll give him that.
I'm curious if Trunks' sword could break the power pole, because the pole, if you look at the two side by side, you would think, right, this is just a red pole compared to Trunks' sword. But the power pole has broke swords before. It broke Ninja Murasaki's sword. It broke Mercenary Tao's arm sword. When Goku attacked them both with the power pole, it broke both swords. Would the power pole break Trunks' sword? I'm tempted to say yes, just because Trunks' sword has broke before in the Goku Black arc, and the power pole has never broke. It seems to be like an indestructible material, and especially...
Does it not follow the whole mythology of the original Son Goku, though? Sun Wukong?
Yeah.
Like Flying Nimbus and the actual original power pole. Like, it was supposed to be like ridiculously powerful. And I think if it followed, I'm pretty sure it follows as that mythos that like it's super powerful.
Yeah.
So I would assume that it's just it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that, and I'm imagining that the Z version, because Z's canon and obviously Tapion's, it's just going to be a basic sword because it's got nothing to do with Tapion.
Yeah.
Like Tapion, it's just going to be a basic sword. So it's just, there's nothing special about it. And again, like I said, it's snapped normally. I don't know about the Rage Sword, the powered up energy light sword, whatever you call it. Would you call it a Rage Sword? Is that what
I
it's
guess
called?
so. I could call it that. You could call it that. Why not?
Light sword, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you call it a light sword?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, he's a bit lightsaber. I wonder how that would do against the power.
Hmm.
The power pole. That would be interesting.
Yeah, because like you mentioned, the power pole is like going from the mythology side, like an indestructible force. Again, bring it back, use it, give it to someone. Just don't make it just be a pole. It's literally just a pole right now. It does nothing. Annoying. But those are the two picks anyway. But I do want to just quickly mention my backup pick, because my backup wasn't the trunk sword. My backup was Whisa's staff.
Oh.
And I don't know if it technically counts, because we haven't really seen it being used as a weapon so much. We've seen it where he's flicked away Vegeta and Goku with it, but apart from that, he's never really used it to fight. But then again, we've never really seen Whis fight with it. But it does stand out just because of everything else it can do. It can turn back time, it can heal people, you can have messages with other people in other universes, you can see the past through it. It's an incredible weapon, I guess. Which makes it very, very unique. It's like, how do you beat something like that? The power pole's not going to beat it. But yeah. I had it as my backup just because we haven't really seen it used as an actual weapon. So I wasn't 100% sure if it would count.
I just want to know if an angel had to go all out in a fight, like it had to, like for some reason they were forced to go out into a fight, if they would take their staff with them into a fight, or if they would just go hand to hand, or what they would do, what their choice would be. I know they have restrictions and stuff or whatever, but if for some reason, like, I would be quite interested there. Like, would they choose, or would they find it more effective to not, because of Ultra Instinct and things like that? Would they find that it would hinder them? I imagine it would probably hinder them, to be honest.
Potentially, but also we don't know the full power of the staff. It can do all of these things, but we don't know if it was used as a weapon. Can it fire beams? Maybe.
Yeah.
Can it do any other weird things in battle, which we haven't seen yet? Potentially. Who knows?
Have we seen angels fire beams themselves?
No, we've never seen an angel fire a beam.
No. Like in training stuff or like that, we haven't, have we?
No. So it's interesting. Maybe the staff can, maybe the bottom of the staff, since the bottom of the staff is the one that pulses the earth to turn back time and all of this other stuff. They can use it to travel as well. Like that's how Beerus and Whis travel to Earth, using the staff. It's like maybe the staff can fire beams as well. Who knows?
It can literally bring people back to life.
Yeah,
Brought people back to life.
Exactly.
And it birthed what do you call it, Bulla or whatever.
Yeah, it can make people give birth. So yeah. So it's an all-powerful staff, but since we haven't technically seen it used as a weapon, that's why it was my backup pick. The closest we've got is Whis just flicking Vegeta and Goku with it, which I don't think really counts as a weapon too much. But who knows? It was my backup pick anyway. So the two main picks for this week are the Power Pole and Trunks' sword. So if you want to vote, go ahead, check out our social medias down below. You can see the links and vote in the polls to see which weapon will join the Hall of Fame next week. But apart from that, we move on now to the hot take.
Hot take.
So this is the hot take, where I usually deep dive into the internet to find a random take online and we discuss it and decide whether we agree, disagree, hate it, love it, or just want to move on with our lives without talking about Dragon Ball for a while. So this week I found a little hot take, which I thought was interesting. So this is what we're going to discuss. The take is Piccolo's progression from villain to hero is better than Vegeta's. What do you think? I can see you thinking there, because I'm counting the fact that, King Piccolo is a different person. He's not the same. So Piccolo, as we know him, Piccolo Jr., begins with the World Tournament arc.
So here, this the person I'm counting is the person in the final arc of Dragon Ball.
Mhm.
That is the person I'm counting.
Yeah.
Not anybody before that person there. Yeah. So he's a super bad evil,
Mhm.
and then he immediately teams up with Goku. So he's not really a particularly bad guy for a very long time, to be honest.
Yeah. His dad was the big bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He kind of got over it very quickly when you think about it.
He did. He didn't really do much. He battled Goku once, and then that was kind of it. After that, well, he does. I guess he kills Goku when he kills Raditz as well. But apart from that, he trains Gohan, even if he is harsh. But he's basically just a good guy from that point onwards.
And a lot of people will turn around and say the exact same thing to you with Vegeta, and I will disagree, because Vegeta went to Namek, and he was not on the same side as Gohan and Krillin.
Yeah.
He was there to serve his own means to get the Dragon Balls for himself.
Mm-hmm.
He was at odds with Gohan and Krillin, not working together with them. It was only at the very last minute that he was forced to basically team up with them.
Mm-hmm. Because of the Ginyu Force.
Yeah, basically. It was circumstance that forced him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It was only by the time they got back to Earth and he was waiting for Goku to become a Super Saiyan. It took him a long time. It took him by how long? When did he actually become settle? Was it Boo? He found himself accidentally settled.
I guess. I mean, you can argue during the Cell Saga because he's with Bulma and Trunks is around and stuff. You'd say he settled then.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, so Cell. So he hadn't intentionally because he wasn't with Bulma at the start of the Cell Saga, like androids and everything like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he technically was, because Bulma had the kid straight away at the beginning. As soon as the Frieza saga ends, the first thing you see is Trunks coming down, killing Frieza, and then she's like, yeah, I've got a baby. And everyone thinks, oh, that must be Yamcha's. And he's like, nope, no.
Oh, yeah. Not remembering me Dragon Ball. Yeah.
So he's settled straight away, pretty much, as soon as the Frieza saga ends and he comes back to Earth. We don't see any of that. There's a passage of time where we don't see between the end of the Frieza saga, where Frieza and the planet blow up, and they're back on Earth.
Yeah. His main reason for staying after the Frieza saga is waiting for Goku, isn't it? Because he needs to know how to become a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not originally staying there because he wants to be friends. His main reason for originally staying there is to find out how to be a Super Saiyan.
And also to pillage the women, apparently.
yeah. That's just his benefit. But yeah, he wants to know how to become a Super Saiyan, and that just happens. So yeah, I don't think he doesn't just do what Piccolo does. He doesn't just fight once and then good guy. He's selfish, and he tries to get the Dragon Balls for himself. So he's a bad guy for a while. It's only when basically there's a further threat to his life that his means of self-preservation forces him to team up with somebody else.
Yeah.
And the Ginyu Force is that threat to his life that forces him to team up.
I wouldn't even say he's a good guy at that point. He's doing it out of necessity, not because he is now a good guy, and that's why he's teamed with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's...
team up with the good guys, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say he is a good guy in the show until the Cell saga, when he starts training because he knows that androids are coming. But up until that point, he still doesn't like any of the Z Warriors. He still doesn't like Goku, but he's tolerating them because of what he's seen on Namek with Goku going Super Saiyan. And, you know, he kind of pours his heart out saying, please defend the honor of the Saiyans and blah, 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 Prince of all Saiyans. But yeah, until the Cell saga, he's still technically just about himself.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And even then, he lets Cell become perfect Cell.
Yeah, because he's still arrogant.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't care what happens to anybody else as long as he gets his fight.
Yeah.
He doesn't care how many people die. And I mean, even in the Buu saga, he lets himself become Maj and Vegeta.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's only technically at the end of the Buu saga that he truly recognizes
the good in people. Yeah.
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 I mean, in Super, he's 100% a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, definitely. Like, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. The only people he cares about until the end of the Buu saga is Bulma and Trunks. Everyone else he just kind of tolerates.
Yeah. I mean, he calls Kakarot his friend, doesn't he? I think. Yeah, because he says my friend. Yeah, he says you're like, I'm sure he says my friend. But he definitely says you're number one.
Yeah.
Sure he says my friend.
I'm not sure if he says my friend. I do remember him saying he accepts that Goku is number one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of Piccolo, he literally gives his life for Gohan in the Saiyan saga.
Yeah.
In the first series of in the first arc of the, so basically the series after he's the big bad guy, he gives his life for his nemesis' son. So it's like a bit quick.
Yeah, well, let's change it up. Let's count Demon King Piccolo as the same person, just for argument's sake. Let's do like a future Trunks, Kid Trunks type of thing where they're different characters but they're the same. Let's count Demon King Piccolo and Piccolo Jr. as the same, I guess, since he is the spawn of. So, Demon King Piccolo, huge evil. He gets the wish on the Dragon Balls to become younger again, or youthful again. He kills Krillin. Well, he doesn't kill Krillin, but he orders Krillin's death. He fights Goku multiple times. He tries to take over the world. That's a big evil. And then he becomes, if we're classing him as the same person, which he's technically not, but he becomes a good guy, and what you've just said with Gohan and stuff. Is that a better switch than Vegeta's switch? I would argue that it isn't still.
No, I mean, he's just gone from being a really horrible, horrific person. Vegeta's blew up planets. Like,
Yeah.
he's literally the first time you see him, he blows up a planet. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, planet
Isn't he?
Alia.
Aurelia or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Aurelia. He
Mm.
literally blows up a planet.
Yeah.
Like, he does a freezer. Like,
And
just
that's
for and he does it for no other reason other than the memes.
yeah.
Like,
But that was the whole point in the Saiyans, though. They were planets like take over us. I don't know what the correct word is. They like take over planets and then sell them for Frieza.
Yeah, like there's no, it's not a better bad guy thing. I just he's too quick a switch. Like he's Demon King Piccolo, even original Demon King Piccolo, was a very bad dude. But it didn't last that long. Like even if you count it as the original. Okay, Vegeta's lasted a long time, and it's been in development over a long time.
Yeah,
it lasted the entirety of Dragon Ball Z. It was from start to finish. There wasn't a settling period.
Yeah,
I think it took a very long time, and there were lots of ups and downs. And I think the Majin Vegeta was a good part of that. I thought Majin Vegeta was best Vegeta, was some of Vegeta at his best, because it was settling. It was just starting to settle, and he was like, I don't want to. And there was some, like, it was some of his best speeches, and Goku even was saying, like, you're trying to convince yourself that you don't care, and basically that's bollocks. It's just not true, and you know it's not true in your heart of hearts. And it's like some brilliant dialogue between the two of them when they're fighting, and I really enjoy that. And it's some of, like, and say what you want about the Boo saga and everything like that, but it's got some fantastic dialogue, some fantastic interactions between Goku and Vegeta, especially.
Yeah.
And around that time, around that area, is some of the best dialogue in Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think the fact that they did that was some of the best storytelling in Dragon Ball, in my opinion. And so I don't really see how they can, when they've done that peak and trough with Vegeta, and whereas with Demon King Piccolo, all that's happened is he's been very, 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 very bad. And then he's just got not so bad, not so bad. Gave my life for my nemesis as kid. Straight away. And then now I babysit your child.
Yeah.
It's not only do I babysit your child while you're dead, I then, when that kid grows up,
well.
now once your child's grew up, I now babysit their child for you.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you think just on devastation that both have caused, Vegeta's blew up planets, he's killed countless people. Demon King Piccolo came to Earth and he tried to rule the Earth, but doesn't succeed. He does kill a main character in Krillin, but in the grand scheme of things, he doesn't. Well, it wasn't him technically, and also he doesn't himself kill many people. Yes, he is bad. Yes, his intentions are bad. He enters a martial arts tournament. How bad can you be? If he was really that bad, he would have just blew up the entire stage straight away just because. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, the progression from evil to good for Piccolo, yes, it was there, and slightly unexpected how quick it happened, but it worked. But Vegeta, as like you mentioned, is dragged out. He's never really a good guy until near the end of Z. He just tolerates people. He's always arrogant. He's always, like, for Piccolo, if you look at him throughout pretty much any time in Z, the way he talks to people, the way he acts, he never seems like a bad guy. He never seems arrogant. He never really shouts or complains or argues. He just kind of does the right thing. Vegeta, on the other hand, at pretty much any point, half of the time he talks, it's about himself. It's him costing someone something. It's him trying to show off. It's like, yeah, if you look at the two of them and you didn't really know who was the bad guy between the two, you would think it's Vegeta straight away. So
it's like, it's Team 4-Star, like, they play it best. They always do. And it's like, I think during the Cell games, when Gohan throws the bag of sensu beans to Trunks and says, here, catch these, go give senzu beans to everyone. Try to forget you're half Vegeta and don't screw it up. Like it's like there. So it's like it just kind of sums it up. It's like don't take a book out of Vegeta's because to be fair, Vegeta does fuck up a lot.
He does. If it wasn't for Vegeta, a lot of like the Cell saga would have ended a lot sooner because Cell would have never became Perfect Cell, and they would have been able to defeat him. That's all Vegeta's fault. But
he's it's bad. Yeah, like he could have destroyed him there and then a semi-perfect. He could have done it.
Yeah.
Or he could have let Trunks do it even.
Yeah, he could have.
Yeah. Like Trunks even blasted him away, didn't he? Before he did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he got back in time to stop him, unfortunately. That would have been interesting if when Trunks blasted him Vegeta away, if he managed to finish it in time.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
It would have been a bit anticlimactic, but
yeah, sure.
It would have worked though. It would have worked. That would have ended Cell, and he would have been gone, and then Vegeta would have been a bit, huffy for a while, but he would have got over it eventually, probably.
That's just Vegeta in a nutshell.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think I agree. Vegeta's arc is better because the way you see him now, especially in Super, he is a family man. He's not so focused on pride. He's not scared to embarrass himself, like especially with the bingo stuff and trying to please Lord Beerus, especially in the beginning. He lets his guard down. He's not so prideful and aggressive all the time. He's still strong-willed, and he wants to push to be the best, but he's also happy to get along with people, which is the main character change for Vegeta.
I mean, to get to that point, it took him hundreds of episodes. It literally took him like hundreds of episodes. Whereas with Piccolo, if you take the legitimate Piccolo that we know, Piccolo Jr., 40 episodes, if that.
But also, if you put it in terms of years, like show years, Piccolo is like maybe 3 years older than Gohan. And at the time he sacrifices himself for Gohan, Gohan's still a kid. So Piccolo's not that much older. So Piccolo must only be about 10 years old at the most when he sacrifices himself for Gohan. Which seems strange to say, but that's just how it is. That is his age. Whereas Vegeta, he goes... Think of the age difference between Gohan as a kid and Gohan in Super when Vegeta is finally a fully fledged good guy. Gohan has grew up. He is a kid of his own. Gohan must be like, late 20s, early 30s at this point, definitely. So that's been like, maybe 30 years it took Vegeta to finally be a good guy compared to when you first see him.
Well, even if you ignore Super and if you just go from start of Z to the end of Z.
Yeah.
So you've got Kid, which is where you meet him in the Sin Saga, to Boo. By the end of Boo, he's nigh on in his late teens. Yeah. So there, like he's still barely like he's been Margin Vegeta, so he's still turned back to a bad guy and come back again after that.
Yeah.
So even if you just count Z in itself and not Super at all, that shows it as a long-term progression.
Yeah.
So peaks and troughs. So now, bad take.
Yeah, bad take. I think it's hard to argue that Piccolo's was better overall. I think, I can't.
Sure, there's not enough content.
Yeah, exactly. There isn't enough content where he has this. If he doesn't even have a full arc to change himself, it kind of just seems instant, He's kind of happy that Goku dies when he kills him and Raditz. But, not that much. And he agrees to help instantly with the Saiyans. That's like,
Basically, he suggests it, doesn't he? Yeah, he turns up to Goku. He suggested to Goku.
Yeah.
He turns up at Master Roshi's island.
Yeah.
Like, Goku doesn't go looking for Piccolo. So... Yeah, basically they have a long fight at the tournament. So they have a fight, basically. And so that ends. and then some angry alien turns up, nearly has a the angry alien nearly has a fight with Piccolo, but doesn't.
Yeah.
The angry alien steals Goku's son. So Piccolo says, "Hey, my nemesis, we should go beat that angry alien." And then that's it. That's his arc done.
Yeah.
That's it. Then he's a good guy from then on. There is no more bad guy Piccolo after that. That's it. That is literally it in a nutshell.
Yeah, even between the end of OG Dragon Ball and the start of Dragon Ball Z, it has passed in time maybe like 5 to somewhere between like 5. Well, even 5 years is hard to say. It depends how old Gohan is at the very start of the show. But you can argue about 5-ish years has passed, and during this time, Piccolo has done nothing. He hasn't been evil. He hasn't caused any trouble. He's just hidden himself away in the deserts. That's all he's done.
Trained.
Yeah. So he hasn't even been doing bad stuff during this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's no indication that he's been like Goku's having to put him down every now and then. Like it's just literally.
He's just
because they're all surprised when they see him. It's like, oh no, Piccolo, and it's like they're all surprised to see him. Like, so there's literally no indication that he's done anything.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think we both agree that Vegeta's arc to becoming a good guy is better, and I think that's a good place to end the episode. So let's end it there. It's been a good one, and yeah, I've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it?
I hope so. Have, as
always. Yeah, of course. So if you have also enjoyed the episode, please like it up, subscribe down below if you haven't already. Check out the polls on our social medias for the Hall of Fame segments. And other than that, we will see you next time.
Yeah.